Hello, Gene here with today's thought, which is about Marjorie Taylor Green and an idea that she has. Marjorie Taylor Green, I mean, where does one start? Well, I was going to say crazy, but there's a Yiddish word. You probably heard it, meshuggah, which is kind of like crazy, but in a sort of affectionate way. Not like clinically insane necessarily, but she's a little bit nutty. I'm free to admit, and she has all these ideas, and sometimes they're meshuggah. But she has one now that's I would say only half Meshuggah or partly Meshuggah, and that is a call for a national divorce. Now, what she's talking about is the country actually splitting. I guess she forgot that we had a civil war over this. But, well, first of all, it's physically impossible because it's not a division between North and South anymore. Politically, we're divided between liberal and conservative, or as Sarah Sanders said, the Sarah Huckabee Sanders, new governor of Arkansas, it's a division between normal and crazy, or as I was saying, to be kind, meshuggah, a division between normal and meshuggah. So it's physically impossible. There's no clear line where you could draw a demarcation line, but a Mason-Dixon line. But she's not entirely wrong. She does have an important thought there. There's a thought that's buried within what she's talking about that I just want to mention briefly, and that's, well, I saw it in New York. I used to live in New York, and I moved to Tennessee about 3 years ago, born in Detroit. But the same is true in Detroit. You have these high population liberal cities that have enough population to outvote the rest of the state. So getting back to New York, for instance, fracking would provide a lot of jobs in upstate New York, but they can't have fracking because the population of New York is so large that New York has a great majority in both houses of the legislature, and of course they have a Democratic governor. So the whole state is pretty much locked into the political philosophy of New York City. And I would even go farther than that and say the very liberal Upper West Side of New York, very liberal. Trust me, as I said, I lived in New York for 40 years. So the kind of divorce that you would want would be a divorce not separating the country, not cutting the country in half, but dividing certain states in half. California has talked about this, that it's so large it should be divided into 3 states. So you would have the very liberal part of California, and then you would have 2 other states where the majority is conservative. Now, Oregon has, well, not Oregon, Idaho, next to Oregon. No, Oregon has gone even farther. There is a ballot issue right now to secede from Oregon and the eastern part of the state because it's overwhelmingly conservative and they're captive of the very liberal west side of the state, and there's no escape because they will always vote liberal, and in fairness, the conservative portions would probably always vote conservative or Republican. So they want to join Idaho, which is right next door, conservative state, and become part of Idaho. Now, there is a precedence for this. I have a precedence for this. I have a list right here. I just made a quick list so I can give you the exact dates, but North Carolina and South Carolina, they were originally one colony before the country was formed of just Carolina, and they split into North Carolina and South Carolina in 1712. Now, North Dakota and South Dakota, they were one state, just Dakota, until 1886, and there was a dispute, I understand, about, it was a territory at that time, and a dispute over where the capital should be. So that they split, Dakota split into North Dakota and South Dakota. And Virginia, of course, we have Virginia and West Virginia. This was the most recent one, 1861, over slavery, the Civil War. So one part of the state could not stand being part of the other of the entire state, and they seceded. I mean, at the same time that the southern states were seceding, so one. Virginia and West Virginia split into Virginia and West Virginia. So that is a good idea. That's where I think she is right, that the states should redraw their borders so that, well, so the liberals can vote the way the liberals want to vote, and conservatives can vote the way the conservatives want to vote. And I think that would cure a lot of divisions in this country. And that's my thought for today. So thanks for stopping by. Subscribe, and I hope to see you all again. Bye.